And a few weeks ago we had some comments from your deputy chairman, Mr. Branco,
Yes.
who said that term limits were put in place to pander to the xenophobic views of those Bermudians who want to see Bermuda foreigners free. Do you endorse that?
I don't know if you've had the opportunity to speak with them to get more clarification, but my concern with term limits has been that we may have inadvertently created a fear that was not necessarily needed to be there. The advice that was given, the legal advice that was given concerning term limits by legal firms and QCs is numerous that was given to the previous administration, that there was no need for it. And that the work permit policy needed to be followed and strengthened. And so we have followed through on that advice. You know, when you get professional advice put before you and you don't take that advice, it leads to confusion, it leads to concern by the people, and that's why it was a very easy decision to make. We also understand that the business community had grave challenges with it, and this is a message to the business community that we're here ready to get business done.
Okay, I understand that, but
Sure.
I'm asking you whether you agree with Mr. Branco's view that it was put in place to pander to xenophobia.
What I'm saying to you is this, is that I haven't had the opportunity to speak to Mr. Branco to get a full explanation as to what he meant by that, and that's why I'm asking you, have you gotten a full explanation from him? What I do support is this, is that we need to get information out there to the country so that they are well informed and that we are not creating fears that are unnecessary because of lack of information. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. He also suggested that the work permit policy was actually effective in protecting the rights of Bermudians. What's your view of that?
I just said it. I think the work permit policy has not worked like it should work. It was there for a reason. We just simply need to police it better and ensure that where it needs to be strengthened, we strengthen it. And that's what the minister is doing as we speak. He's working with that work permit policy to ensure that succession plans are in place, that we don't have advertisements going out that you need 10 years experience for a pot washer. Those things were in place well. And I believe that that will go a long way in securing jobs for Bermudians.
You probably, hopefully, you read today's paper?
Not all of it.
Not all of it. Michelle St. Jane,
Yes.
the speaker at, I think it was Rotary or one of
Yes,
the
she spoke to,
clubs.
yes.
Her view is Bermuda is too focused on the bottom line. It's all about money.
Yeah.
She says Bermuda's economy has never been organized to ensure social equality or social justice.
Yes.
Do you share that view?
I do share that view to a great degree. I believe that we have not done enough in the past with social programs and supporting the clubs and the likes. But I also recognize that they work in tandem with business, as well as businesses are doing, as well as our social programs are doing. As you've seen in the past, funding for many of these programs has been withdrawn and taken back, and that is because business is not doing well. This has to be an opportunity. We must be out, and we are out speaking to the businesses about how do we move this country forward, not just economically for the businesses, but economically, socially as well. How do we move Bermudians, all of us, along with opportunity and being able to excel? So I do share in those views, and I take her comments to heart. She has a great voice in what she sees and what she understands is what's best. But it is our job, this administration, to ensure that we work with everyone, that there isn't a precedence one over the other, which is why we have said that proceeds from crime would go to the clubs and would go to social programs, which is also why we're saying that we'll continue to work with the businesses out there to get funding for different things. I've been in discussions already with the private sector and have received monies to support mediation for the violence that's going on in this country. And not enough of that was done before. And the business sector is willing to step in and to help. But we've got to get that conversation going more. But within a short period of time, within these first month and plus, we've been able to get private sector to support money to programs. So this is a
How
good
much
thing.
money are we talking about?
Well, I'm not at liberty to say how much, but they are supporting.
Right. But you say that, but I was looking at your the term limit policy review document, which
Sure.
I have a copy of right here,
Sure.
and it seems to accept that, you know, Bermudians, right, there are anxieties within the community about eliminating term limits, fear of gentrification,
Sure.
um,
Sure.
and some real social, you know, deeply held concerns. Yet the document itself looks like it's a position paper, you know, forwarding, protecting the interests of business. And I'm wondering about that orientation of your government. You know, it seems to be like business first, and then everybody else second. Is that fair? Is that a fair assessment?
No, I don't think it's fair. I've already explained that I believe that they work hand in hand. We've already seen, as I said before, the results of businesses not doing well, which means that social programs don't do well. And so both have to work hand in hand. That's the solution, both of them working in tandem. Our business sector needs to know that it has a responsibility to support social programs, and this government will continue to work with the business sector to make that happen. Listen, the best social program is a job, and we need to get jobs on the table, and that hasn't been happening. And so the Economic Committee right now is looking at several projects and getting them going, because we believe that there's a direct correlation to the crime that's happening, to the social ills that were happening, with the lack of jobs being available. So we've got to work together with these things.
So
It's got to happen. And yeah, sorry.
Business doesn't do well, society doesn't do well. Is that what you're saying?
That's what's happening to us. Yeah.
Okay. How many of these policy recommendations in the policy review document has actually been implemented?
You'd probably have to check with the minister on that. I'm not entirely sure yet.
Okay, fair enough. Government is entering a period of strained labour relations, according to some people out there, Walton Brown,
Sure.
LPMP and others. Do you agree? Are you happy with the way things have been progressing?
I don't agree with that at all. It's a bit dangerous for an honourable member to be making certain assumptions. I have been on one of the meetings with the unions, and it was a very successful meeting, a very amicable meeting. We did come to consensus, and I did lay out before them that this has got to be about the people of this country and moving them forward. So I'm not sure where this strained relations is coming from, but I think it's more of a farce and more of a stretch, and what people might want to say as opposed to what the reality is. Those meetings have been well.
Yeah, which meeting was that?
I had a meeting yesterday with the BBSU.
Okay. Right. Is there going to be a referendum on gaming? Or will you just pass legislation to allow?
That's a discussion that we'll continue to have. In our throne speech, in our platform, we said that we believe the way forward was a referendum. As we move forward in understanding more of the intricacies that involve gaming, we'll put it on the table. Bermuda needs to let us know if they feel that we just need to make the decision, or if we need to go to referendum. You know, it's always politically safe to say, well, we'll go to referendum and let the people decide. But is that really in the best interest of the country? And so we need to answer that question. I've said it before and I'll say it again, that this year has to be about decision making. Bermudians have conversed and talked about and seen white papers and green papers. They've seen enough of those. We need to make some decisions that are in the interest of the country itself. Okay. So we're still talking about it, and Cabinet will continue to put it before the forefront. But what's important right now is getting that investment back in the country and getting people at work.
So we're not sure, we might not have a referendum very soon, just go.
I think we proceed with a referendum right now. We've let the register know that, or understand how much lead time does he need. So we need to know those variables. We've had that discussion, but nothing is off the table right now.
And another question I had is about the Washington office.
Yes.
A lot of taxpayer dollars that have been spent on it, but nobody seems to know what actually is being done there. Have you had an update on this office?
Yeah, actually, we're in discussions right now as we speak, in understanding the role of Washington D.C. And what it is that they actually do. So that is unfolding.
So there's no update, basically.
Not yet. We've had two discussions thus far, and we'll continue with those in understanding the role of Washington. I know it is a concern and a question that is out there, which is why I'm addressing it. And let me also say that been good discussions. Everyone has been frank, honest about where they see things. All stakeholders.
Sounds good. How is your how will the budget reflect your concerns with the social needs of this country?
Yeah, you'll see that education, you'll see that cultural, community and cultural affairs, you'll see those ministries reflect the need for more assistance. You will see that. But certainly in other areas you'll see where we are looking to tighten our belt as much as possible. But you will see that.
Okay. So more money for education, more money for community and cultural affairs, basically.
Somewhere along
More
those lines.
resources.
Yes.
Okay. And in terms of belt tightening, you've only had one meeting with BPSU. We shouldn't expect any major.
Oh, let me just clarify. I've had a meeting with BPSU, with the minister as well, but the minister continues to have ongoing meetings with the rest of the unions, the TUC as a whole as well.
Sure.
So those conversations are going.
But there's no agreement yet on cutting costs.
There's lots of ways of cutting costs.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, pay cuts for the public.
Oh, pay cuts. Yeah. No, those discussions will continue to go on. You know, our minister will give you insight in the next 2 weeks as to where those directions will be.